What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick'em plays for Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog. Get that deposit match bonus. Little Bird told me that you can get up to $1,000, not just $250 on your deposit match through our SGPN Underdog promo codes. So yeah, if you put down money, you'll get a lot of money for free. 50% deposit match bonus up to $1,000 at Underdog Fantasy or on the Underdog app. All right, let's get into the picks, and let's just take a moment to celebrate a win yesterday after another little slow stretch. I'm not really one to celebrate my wins, celebrate the losses, but I was just getting so frustrated, especially with last week. Just have so many slips so close that were, I guess, favored to hit and then not coming home in the end. So it felt good. Jun-Ching Chang, our tennis pick to win in straight sets, lower than 0.5 sets loss against Emiliano Navone. He won that pretty straightforward, 7-5, 6-3. The first set was a bit dicey, but he broke Navone twice in the second and ran away with it. It's a good example of don't just get lost in the ATP rankings. Navone's 50, 60 spots higher than Chang in the rankings right now. But surface matters. If this was on clay, Navone would be a favorite. But this is a hard court. Chang is a great hard court player, and he showed it on the court here. So that was nice to get that one home early in the day. And then we were just sweating two knocks the rest of the day. We got the one that was super dramatic was Jurickson Profar, who started out 0 for 4, and then the bottom of the eighth, 0 for 3, in the bottom of the eighth, he hit a 3-run home run to give the lead to the Padres, and then they won that game. And then also it was great because after the Twins took the lead 5-3, I live bet the Padres. They're such a good late in the game team. I live bet them plus 525. They hit that home run. 3 batters up, 3 runs scored, lead taken. They got another one in that inning and then shut down the Twins at the top of the ninth. So that was a beautiful result for me. And then the last one was Mike Yastrzemski. I told you, he was 0 for 9-10 in his last 10 plate appearances. The odds say that's not going to continue. He's going to get a knock if he gets 4 at-bats in this game, and he got a knock in his first at-bat. So good job, Mike Yastrzemski. I think he actually had 2 hits. He ended up with 2 hits in that game. So again, he rebounded. As I said, I went through kind of his past game progression when he had a little bit of slow streaks. Usually the ceiling for him going hitless is like 9 at-bats. And again, it proved true. He came home in a major way. But enough about yesterday. Who cares? You can't go back in time and make those picks again. We're doing another 3-leg slip today. This one's a little bit meatier, a little bit higher of a return. I just really like some of the situations I'm finding myself in on these, and especially when we're getting some multipliers and flat multipliers that we usually don't get. I'm leading off with Shohei Ohtani higher than 1.5 total bases at a flat 1x multiplier on your slip because this is rare these days. We get him at 2.0. We get it super juiced to higher than 1.5 total bases. This is flat, so put this one in first because I doubt it's going to last. People are going to be putting picks in on Ohtani. That's what happens when you're the best player in the NL or the best batter in the NL and one of the most popular players in the entire world. Ohtani is facing Logan Gilbert in the Mariners. Obviously, Logan Gilbert is a very good pitcher. I'm not trying to fade him specifically. I just think, Shohei is the best batter in the NL. 1.5 total bases is in his range of outcomes a lot of the time. He's gone higher than 3 or 1.5 total bases in 3 of his last 4 games. His numbers for August as a whole are a bit suppressed. He's had some rough stretches, but he is picking it back up. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 days, end of this month, he isn't right back on his season pace for average, slugging, and all that other good stuff, which is currently lacking behind it this month. And also, Gilbert's not a huge walk guy, so I don't worry about his, having his at-bats reduced through walks. It's a different situation, right, when you consider Ohtani's spot in the order versus the other guy that people like to avoid, which is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, the guys behind him aren't scaring anybody. He's batting third in the lineup after Juan Soto. Stanton's in and out of the lineup and also is a guy that strikes out a ton. Ohtani batting leadoff with Mookie and Freddie and Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez all batting right after him. And also the fact that Ohtani's number 2 in the league in stolen bases. You really can't give him anything for free right now, so you do have to pitch to him. So I really like Ohtani higher than 1.5 total bases versus Logan Gilbert. Ohtani is 3 of 13 versus Gilbert for his career, so nothing crazy, but the hits are a home run, a double, and a single. And again, Gilbert is a hard thrower. If you make contact, you can get it pretty good as long as you see it well as it comes over the plate, which Ohtani, sometimes he maybe swings a little bit too hard, but he does have a little bit of more of a diversified swing set this season. So again, I like Ohtani here, especially when we're getting a fair value for once on Ohtani and not having it juiced to the gills. Next one, we're going to Trea Turner higher than 1.5 total bases. It's a 1.1x multiplier. This is just great value on Trea Turner. He went 0-for-4 yesterday in a pretty offensively limited game for the Phillies against the Braves. So he went 0-for-4 yesterday. The last 5 times he's gone 0-for-4, he's got a hit he's gone hitless in a game. He's gotten a hit in 4 out of those 5, and 3 of those 4 have been for higher than 1.5 total bases. Trea rebounds well. That's my point. And again, when you're getting a 1.1x multiplier on him, that is a value that I'm willing to take. Last one. I was going to make this a 2-leg slip, and it would have been 3.33x. But there's just a guy that I can't stop thinking about, Otto Lopez, man. He just keeps on getting knocks. He keeps on finding doubles. He gets singles. He does it late in games when the Marlins need it. His teammates might not do what they need to do to make the Marlins get across the finish line in every single game. But Otto Lopez is just under the radar, back of the order guy for the Marlins who's just consistently getting on base through hits. He's on a 5-game hit streak right now. He's gone higher than 1.5 total bases in 3 of those games. He's batting .273 this month, which is driving his average up for the year. This is a 1.16x multiplier, so this is a pretty juicy one. But again, he's facing Jordan Montgomery and the D-backs. If you followed the show at all, you know that I do not really care for Jordan Montgomery. I think that he's a little bit smoke and mirrors, and he's a lefty, and I really think the Marlins could, I'm not saying go bet on this, but I think the Marlins could really punish him here. He's at 5.5 hits allowed in this, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the D-backs will leave him in as long as possible. But again, I just want to attack him through a specific player and not take his total hits prop because, again, this lineup is very inconsistent for the Marlins. Outside of my guy, Otto Lopez, who usually finds hits. Oh, what's up? The cat's here for some picks. So these 3 plays together, which are Shohei Ohtani higher than 1.5 total bases, Trea Turner higher than 1.5 total bases, and Otto Lopez higher than 1.5 total bases, come together for a 7.72x multiplier. We hit this one after we hit that 3.69 yesterday. We are on for a beautiful week. So let's get this one home. I know it's a little bit aggressive going all higher 1.5 total bases, but again, I really like all 3 of these spots. Ohtani, Trea Turner, Otto Lopez, they're on the all dog squad team today. All right, so I talked about our sponsor and the raised limit for your deposit bonus up to $1,000 if you use promo code DAILYDOG, DAILYDOG, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. I really highly recommend taking advantage of that, especially as we get into the NFL season. Everybody's going to want to be playing fantasy. You're going to be playing best ball. You're going to want to make pick'em slips on the days of the games. So there's a lot of ways to take advantage of those bonus funds. I also like the season-long stuff. If you haven't checked out my college football season preview yet, you can find that on YouTube, or also on this podcast feed. And then my NFL version of that is going to be coming out this weekend as well. Also, Underdog has NFL Week 1 picks up that reduced numbers. So you got Calvin Ridley at higher than 38.5 receiving yards. Honestly, this one wouldn't really be that appealing to me outside of the fact that Nuke Hopkins is potentially going to be missing some time, and that means more targets for Ridley, which means more yards for Ridley. So I'm going to be taking, a hard look at this one. I don't necessarily love the passing game for the Titans. I think that, the new offensive coordinator bringing in Callahan could help them out. And I think that, some fresh juice there could make their offense really good. I just am not a Will Levis believer. I think Will Levis is pretty bad, and I don't think he's going to be a starter in this league for very long. Maybe he took a huge step forward in the offseason. That's yet to be seen, but at this point, I'm not willing to back him. So I'm a little bit more reluctant to back anything in the passing game here, especially against the Bears, whose defense is supposedly going to be improving even more in this 2024 season. All right, let's go to the fun part. Let's go to the Dong Squad, my home run picks. I'm going with Marcel Ozuna. He's also in contention with Shohei Ohtani for the best hitter in the NL right now. Ozuna is facing Aaron Nola. He's got 4 home runs versus him in his career. I think we've got a pretty neutral weather situation in this game, so I'm also going to go with the other side. I'm taking JT Realmuto versus Max Fried. Max Fried is not someone I'm fearing right now, and you can tell, by my Trea Turner pick. And Realmuto also is very familiar with this opponent. He's got 4 home runs versus him as well. Last one, we're going to Rafael Devers. He's facing Justin Verlander in his return for the Astros. If Verlander is kind of his stubborn self that tries to beat you with some inside power or whatnot, Devers can take advantage of it. So these 3 home run picks together, Marcel Ozuna, JT Realmuto, and Rafael Devers come together for a 53.75x flex play. If it goes 2 out of 3, you get 9.48x back. Then again, the show slip, Shohei Ohtani, Trea Turner, Otto Lopez, all higher than 1.5 total bases. Last little bit of news, I did start a new podcast with my buddy Amal Shah. You may know him from VSiN if you ever watch that network. Right now, we're breaking down every single college football conference. We've got, by the time this show comes out, you should have 2 on your feed, and the third one will be coming out. That's Big 10 and Big 12 are out. ACC is next. SEC will be on Thursday. Once again, thanks for listening. That's all I've got today, so let's make some money.